Hey, it's Denise. I just want to do a quick follow-up to my end of gardening season video. As well, if you didn't watch that video, you should have, but you're forgiven. I'm a very forgiving person. Anyway, if you did, you'll remember that we had gotten a hard frost predicted for that night, which we did get. So, like all good tomato gardeners, I went out there and cut everything off the vine. Now, I had only initially grabbed everything that had, even if it had the tiniest bit of a pink blush just starting, I picked them because I've been doing that for the last 2 weeks. We've been under frost watches. We really got a couple extra weeks this season, which was nice. So I've been picking them less ripe than I normally would and letting them ripen on the kitchen counter just in case we got an unexpected frost. But we didn't, and it held out until that night where we knew it was coming. So I picked everything that looked like even the tiniest hint of blush. Like I said, even if it was earlier than I normally would have bothered, because my thought was, after tonight, the tomato plants are all dead and any of the fruit left on them is useless. So, because, it's not like the tomatoes stay good if they freeze. They get all, crinkly, sciencey stuff happens. They're plants. They have cell walls and lots of water in them, and when it freezes, they get broken and stuff. Anyway, you like that from someone whose degree is in science? I'm a nurse, though. It's applied science, my degree, not general science. Anyway, back to the tomatoes. So, the ones that I picked that had even the tiniest bit, I'm not ignoring you on purpose, I'm opening a picture. I know you watch these videos purely because of my great technological and editing skills, and I wouldn't want to disappoint. So, being that I don't know how to edit anything, and you probably figured out what you get is raw footage. These are the tomatoes that were in that white bag. Wow, they look really bright with the screen, trying to look at the screen. Can I hold it up to the camera? Are you seeing them? You're not seeing them. Is there too much light on them? You can see they're red. If nothing else, you can definitely see that they turned red. So that was everybody that was in the green bag, in the mesh bag, rather, that ended up sitting on the kitchen counter. The ones that were still on the vine that were absolutely still hard as rocks and completely green. First, I ran around and asked the neighbors, did anybody have any use? Were any of them people who did the fried green tomatoes thing, or did tomato salsas, or, any of the stuff that uses unripe tomatoes, because I don't do any of those things. And my one neighbor took a couple of them, but, I had a lot of them. So her suggestion to me was, put them in a brown paper bag. She's like, cut them anyway, even if they're like rocks and they're not ripe. Because my thought was, at that point, there is no hope of turning them. That was my understanding. And she said that she had heard, as long as you put them in a brown paper bag, put them under your bed or in a closet or somewhere dark, and leave them for a week. So they've been under my bed in a paper bag. I went the extra step and threw 2 bananas in there, because how bananas and apples and some other fruits give off something into the air that helps ripen them, but it also ripens anything else around them. So I figured at the end of the week, the bananas are probably going to be squishy and black. I'm expecting that because bananas ripen fast in a paper bag, and these bananas were already ripe enough that you could have eaten them when I put them in there. So, you're about to see it at the same time I see it. I'm going to take the bag out from under the bed, and let's see if these tomatoes changed color at all, or if when they're that green, they really are not going to turn color. Just going to lean under the bed for 1 minute. Getting the paper bag. It's heavy. I forgot how heavy it was. Let's see what we got. I see some change. Okay, the bananas are not as bad as I thought. A little overripe, but I was afraid they might feels almost like there's pureed banana being held together by banana skin. Okay, we're going to be gentle with that. But for example, this is it's still hard, but it's definitely not green. It's yellow, which means it's a big rainbow, which they turn yellow and then they get pink on the bottom. I've shown you those before. So that has started changing color. I wish color was showing up better on the monitor, so I could just let you look in this bag. There are a few. Like, look at this is definitely ripening. These smaller ones, I'm telling you, I told you in the last video, most productive ones in my garden this year. I'm going to kill the name again because it's French. Black Renaissance, whatever. I believe Baker Creek is probably where I bought them from. Heritage Seeds. But these were completely green. Now these, when they're ripe, maintain those dark green stripes, and the underneath where you're starting to see the pinkening will turn a deep, not a bright cherry tomato red, but like a deep, almost maroon red. But this is a definite change in color from when I like it. You see the star? Oh, look how clearly it's showing up because of how green it still is. I like these all have like a little star where you take the stem off. We still have some that are quite green. We have a bunch that are quite green. It's another really big one that was hard as a rock when I picked it. It is still hard as a rock. But you know what? Some progress has gone on, so I think I'm going to put these bananas and these tomatoes back under my bed. Should I get fresh bananas? I don't think I have fresh bananas. You know what? The bananas were starting to get soft, like you care, and I had too many, so I just broke them in half and put them in a freezer bag and have them in the freezer for smoothies. Half a banana in there. Okay, so these are going back under the bed. I'm going to check them again probably, and I'll give them like maybe 3 days. Because I'm guessing by then, those bananas will be rotten. And I don't want to be cleaning up rotten banana. You know, before they explode, I'd like to get them out. Other news. Okay, the ones that I showed you the picture of, the ones that I didn't think they were going to ripen per se, because they were so, like, when I tell you I picked them with the tiniest hint of pink, even barely beginning, I tell you no lies. These tomatoes did not look like they stood much of a chance of ripening on the counter, and yet they did. I wish I could have showed you the picture more clearly, but you could definitely see that they were red. So, right after I took that picture, which was just about a half hour ago, I cored them and put them in a gallon freezer bag, and it got about 2/3 of a bag full from the ones that ripened on the counter. I already have 1 gallon bag of frozen tomatoes, of ones that I had been saving over the last week or two, you know, during the weeks leading up to, because I knew we were in that it could frost any day period, so I was picking them kind of every day, going out to the garden if it looked even semi-ripe, bringing it in. So between, I have that full bag, I have the 2/3 of a bag that I just put in now. I'm now a little bit hopeful that I might get a couple ripe tomatoes out of the ones under the bed. I don't think they're all going to ripen, because some of them are still totally green and hard as rocks. But it looks like it, to some degree at least, it works. So if you find yourself in that green tomato what to do situation, it's not 100%, but I would certainly say it's worth giving it a try after seeing that I am getting some results. That's all. I just wanted to fill you in. I almost said fill you up with tomato knowledge, like, you know, you're a blank slate, an empty vessel. I'm filling you with tomato knowledge. I am not the most tomato knowledgeable person. For the most tomato knowledgeable person on the planet, you want to look at Roots and Refuge Farm on YouTube. Jess knows her tomatoes. She is like the tomato queen. But as far as for someone who considers himself a moderately good gardener, but this year was the first time I grew any significant amount of tomatoes, I told you before, I put up quarts and pints of sauce and soups, some vegetarian vegetable soups, and I'm going to have all the tomato sauce I need for a year from what I got from my garden this year, and that's with sharing it. So, yeah, next year I don't eat fresh tomatoes. If I liked fresh tomatoes, so many would not have ended up obviously getting canned, but I might grow more next year. But as someone who does not, I'm gonna really date myself here. Yeah, okay, I'm 51, people. If you don't already know that. Yeah, and the acne. I'm not a makeup person. I got through adolescence without acne, and for some reason recently, I know you can see it. I know you're thinking, why does that woman that age have acne? Yeah, for some reason the last couple months, every once in a while I'm breaking out in acne. And the expensive acne stuff I bought for my 17-year-old that he never uses, guess who's using it? That would be me. Anyway, I'm not gonna do tomatoes, I don't think, next year. And I'm not gonna do, I showed you the jelly melons. Not gonna do them again, just because while they are very cool to look at, and you look like, something dinosaurs would have eaten, so they give your, definitely visual flair to your garden. I think I'm going to stick to more practical things that I know I'll eat. I was starting to say if I ate fresh tomatoes, it would be different. And I was about to tell you my terrible, I'm not a good joke teller, but way back, the late, great George Carlin, in one of his skits, talked about, he obviously did not like eating raw tomatoes either. Like you said, how you have to pick them off your burger or your sandwich. And he called them squishy little pink bicycle wheels. Picture the slice with, the solid bits being the spokes. So, yeah, whenever I look at a slice of tomato, I think of the late, extremely funny George Carlin talking about little pink bicycle wheels. And, yeah, I don't like that gelatinous, gooey stuff that's around the seeds. And to me, the best thing that ever happened to tomatoes was them becoming ketchup. Because ketchup, I can put on almost anything. I mean, anything savory. Chocolate goes on anything sweet. Just, when in doubt, if it's savory, put ketchup on it. If it's sweet, put some chocolate. You can almost never lose that way. Anyway, thanks for hanging out and listening to my update. If I have any further success, if the green ones in the paper bag really do ripen up a lot, I will show you. I'll do another quick. I took almost 15 minutes. I thought this would be 5 minutes. If they really do ripen up successfully, I will let you know that. Otherwise, I'm just going to look at it as maybe this is something that works. It's worth trying. And thanks for hanging out with me and watching, and I hope everybody's having a good gardening day. And if you're someone who also follows my bariatric surgery post-op life videos, just a quick update. Current weight is 163.5 as of this morning. I had to think for a minute. My starting weight had been 240. So I've lost over 70 pounds at this point, and that's since the beginning of the year. So really happy with how things are going. And happy gardening, and to those of you who are on a weight loss journey, best to you, and have a good day, everybody.